Hello, friend. I'm Lily Rose, and this is Through the Ashes, a podcast about grief and the quiet ways we grow because of it, not in spite of it. I am so glad you're here. Quick note before we begin, I am not your therapist. I'm just a person who's walked through loss and has found that healing is possible. If you are in acute crisis, please reach out to a professional or a trusted support line. Let's begin. If you're listening to this today, I want you to know something right from the beginning. You are not alone. I don't know where you are right now. Maybe sitting in your car, maybe curled up in bed, maybe walking outside just trying to breathe, but wherever you are, I am honored to sit with you for a moment. And today, I want to talk about a grief that too often hides in the shadows, a grief that doesn't always get the space, or the language, or the understanding it deserves. Today, I want to talk about grief after a miscarriage. Miscarriage is one of those experiences that splits your life into before and after. Before, when there was hope, plans, new beginnings, tiny dreams forming quietly in your heart. And after, when all the hope seems to collapse in on itself, leaving you holding a loss that feels both invisible and impossibly heavy. What makes this grief so unique is that it's often silent. There's no funeral, there's no shared ritual. There may be no physical evidence left behind, at least not the kind the world recognizes. Yet inside, there's a storm, a real, raw, soul-shaking storm. You may be grieving the baby you never got to meet, the moments you imagined, the first heartbeat, the tiny kicks, the future birthdays, the late night feedings, the whispered I love yous you never got to say. You may be grieving the parent you were already becoming, a version of yourself that felt real and alive, but now feels lost somewhere you can't reach. And sometimes, the hardest part isn't even the grief itself, it's the loneliness that follows. People might say, "You're young, you can try again," or "It wasn't meant to be," or the one so many of us have heard, "At least it happened early." And so the silence grows. But I want to break that silence with you today. I want to say out loud what so many people carry quietly. Your grief is real. Your pain is valid. Your loss matters. This type of grief is not a moment. It's not a single day. It's a process, a deeply personal, deeply emotional process that doesn't follow a schedule or a rule book. You might have days when you feel almost okay, days when you laugh without thinking, or eat your favorite meal, or catch yourself planning something new. And then you might have days when the smallest thing, a date, a sound, a memory, a smell, pulls you right back into the ache. Both are normal, both belong, both are part of the healing. And if you have ever felt guilt for what your body did or didn't do, guilt for not noticing something sooner, guilt for being sad, or for not being sad enough, please breathe with me for a moment. None of this is your fault. Your body did not fail you. You did not fail your baby. You did the best you could with the information, strength, and love you had in that moment. Sometimes Grief shows up like waves, strong, unpredictable, overwhelming, and sometimes it shows up like a quiet ache in the background of your day. But whichever way it lives in you, it deserves compassion. I want to speak now to the piece of you that feels broken, the part that wonders if joy will ever feel the same again, the part that questions if your heart will always ache like this. I know it feels impossible right now, but you will rise again, not by forgetting, not by pretending the loss never happened, but by carrying your love forward in a new way. And that ember, that tiny glow, is what helps you move through the ashes. And even though I never experienced this kind of loss, I witnessed it very closely. And this message is for you. Your story didn't end with this loss. Your motherhood or parenthood didn't end with this loss. You are still whole, even with the cracks. You are still worthy, even with the pain. You are still capable of deep love, deep hope, and deep healing. And before we close today, I want to leave you with a message from my heart to yours. Grief is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of love. And if you're grieving, it's because you loved deeply. That love is still inside of you. That love is still yours. Healing won't ask you to forget. It will ask you to honor by living, by breathing, by taking small steps forward, even when you're scared. You're stronger than you feel today. You're more held than you know. And there will come a time, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next month, but there will come a time when the sun feels warm again on your face. But you will rise. And when you do, you will carry both the ache and the love with you through the ashes and into the light again. If this story found you where you are, please share with us at throughtheashes@outlook.com. Share your name, where you're listening from, and if we're able to share your story on a future episode. Next week, we'll talk about becoming the person your future self would thank you for. Not through perfection, not through pushing yourself to the edge, but through simple, powerful shifts. We rise, maybe not fast, maybe not pretty, but we rise. I'm Lily Rose, and this is Through the Ashes. See you next week.